Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man Mark Black. Welcome to your morning Joe. Lift up your cups with me and let's have a conversation. This conversation we're gonna have this morning is a little bit difficult for me because it's quite personal and it hits to the core of my personal identity and so on and so forth. But as you all know, I tend to share stories not only that I can relate to, but that many of you can relate to. And I also tie those stories in as best I'm able to our greater struggle. So, what I want to talk about this morning is the concept or the idea of invisible illness. Now, why am I talking about this? Like, what's brought this on? Well, as you know, yesterday I did not do a morning Joe, and I apologize in advance for that. Those of you who are my diehards know how I feel about self care and things like that. I'm not making no excuses. I intend to do them every morning, um, but some mornings are much more difficult than others, and there's a specific reason for it. When I was when I first got on YouTube, I was working at a well-known tech company. I've been in tech for quite a few many years. Started off just doing call center stuff, but got more involved in the hardware side of tech, being able to troubleshoot computers. Um, as you guys know, I recently built a computer. I have a few photos I'll post up on my channel on the build. I was gonna do a video, but there's plenty of videos out there on how to build a computer or whatever, so I didn't want to add any more to the mix. At any rate, I was working. Um, actually transferred to a couple of different jobs because I remember I've been on YouTube as of this year almost 4 years. I'm about halfway into my fourth year here on YouTube, and working in YouTubing is a unique and fun challenge, but it's nothing new. Everybody does it. You know what I'm saying? At any rate, February of last year, I started noticing some pain in my back. And I thought maybe it's my bed, maybe it's maybe it's the chairs I sit in at work. I'm not a spring chicken anymore as y'all can see, right? So um but the pain never went away. And so, of course, me working and stuff like that, and my missus also really has luckily, good health care and health insurance through her job. And we were already on each other's, stuff, whatever the case may be. So I started doing some investigating. I've had CAT scans, I've had MRIs, I've had x rays, physical therapy, you name it, and nothing has helped. I've changed my diet. I've even, taken herbals and stuff like that. Nothing helps. As of today, the pain that was originally in my back has now spread pretty much everywhere all over my body. I wake up every day hurting. I don't take any type of pain medication, right? I'm not trying to get caught up in that opioid shit. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of focus and, mental focus, try to keep a good positive attitude. And for the main, most part, I just deal with it. Now, I recently filed for disability, but the problem is I don't have a diagnosis of what's causing this issue, right? And it's invisible. The thing is that I can tell people what's happening to me, right? I can say to them, I'm in pain constantly. I'm fatigued constantly. Like, I can have a full night's sleep, or as such as I can get, right? Because I've suffered from insomnia for years, but I can get a good full night's sleep, 6 hours a night. right? Which for me is a fantastic night of sleep. And I wake up in the morning and it's as if I haven't slept at all. Now, some of you out there will start at this point in my story to try to help me diagnose my problem. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. I've had people tell me, well, maybe you just depressed, brother, because you know depression can cause pain. No, I've suffered from depression before. Mental health is important, right? I've been through therapy quite a few times. I know what the signs of depression are, and I'm not depressed. I'm not angry, upset, bothered, hurt, pissed off, messed up in any way. Well, any way more than anybody else, I should say, right? Um, so it's not depression. At this point, I don't know what it is. I think the worst part for me, besides the fact that I'm not capable of doing the things that I previously had no issue doing, the worst part for me is the response that I get from people. I'm a black man, married, who don't work. I might as well be the lowest piece of shit on the planet Earth, right? I'm not of utility. Now, that's not to say I don't do things. As many of you know, I'm the cook in my house, right? So I cook the meals here for my family, right? I maintain things around the house as best I'm able, right? I wash dishes, I do clothes, the whole 9 yards, right? I do have utility, but I don't have that traditional male utility of going out and getting the bag. I've had my own issues with that. And luckily, because I have a really good woman who supports me in every way I can possibly imagine, this is just a non issue for me. But yeah, that's a pretty bad thing. The fact that people look at me and I don't look like I'm messed up, I don't look like I'm having any issues. And so they expect me to either just be tripping like it's all in my head or whatever the case may be, or they think I'm malingering. They think that I'm just, laying up, right? Like I would be just laying up with anybody doing anything at 46 years old. Why am I talking about this morning? Because every invisible illness, even if you cannot see outwardly the signs of the illness, has a cause. I haven't found my cause yet. There's not been a diagnosis yet. But I'm certain that there is a reason why I'm facing what I'm facing. Well, as ADOS people, we actually have a diagnosis, right? When the outside world looks at us, they see a series of illnesses, right? A series of symptoms from an invisible illness, right? They see our poverty. They see the degraded living circumstances in which we exist. They see what they constitute as broken English or bad English, right? And they see all these different things. And because they don't see the cause, right? Scratch that, because it's worse in the case of ADOS. We've long known the cause of the illness of ADOS folk. The cause of our illness is that everything that would be ours to create the daily normal life of American citizens have been denied us systematically, legally, for hundreds of years. We know that's the cause of our illness. But not only do people pretend not to see that cause, but they actually have an interest in keeping us ill, right? They don't want to accept the diagnosis, right? They don't want to accept the diagnosis of our doctors, like Dr. Sandy Darity, Dr. Dark Hamilton, Dr. Leslie Branch, and so on and so forth. They don't want to see, they don't want to hear from our doctors that our illness has a cause. And like people with an invisible illness, whenever we have a good day, right, we were able to get up and get dressed, be out and about doing some things, right? People automatically assume that at that point, that all of what we were suffering before was just made up, or that we're on the upswing, we're on the mend, we're getting better. When in point of fact, we're just having a good day. We're doing the best we can with what we got on this particular day. It's the same with ADOS folk. Whenever we have a few brothers and sisters that have been able to get some degree of come up, they was able to bubble a little bit. They're used to mask the fact that we as a collective are ill. We know the cause. Everybody can see the symptoms, but you have a vested interest by many people to keep us ill, to not accept the diagnosis of our illness so that it can be treated and overcome. Whenever I do receive a diagnosis, I'm one of those people that believe in science, right? Like I accept science, I accept medicine, so there won't be no, I won't treat myself or won't take the treatments available to me to help either manage my symptoms or, in the case of something that can be cured, to be cured. But I want you to understand, family, that you got a lot of brothers and sisters out there that are struggling with the after effects of the illnesses known as slavery, Jim Crow, debt, peonage, convict lease, and separate but equal, mass incarceration, mass disenfranchisement, the revocation of civil rights, and so on and so forth. We know the cause. We know the root cause of these symptoms. And there is a cure, but we have to fight to ensure that we get it. Just like I have to fight some days just to be able to get out of bed and come to you with salient, important information. When I ask for your support for my channel, it is not because I'm a beggar. It is not because I think that you owe me something. I ask because I do something for you, right? What I do may not be much to some people, but it is the best fight that I'm able to do. If I cannot get out of bed, if I can't move, I can still talk. I can still think. I got a big mouth, a big mind, and I'm not afraid to use either of them. I want you to understand that there are your brothers and sisters around you who suffer from these, these invisible illnesses, illnesses that have a cause, but you can't see outwardly any wounds or any defects or any disabilities. Brothers and sisters with mental illness like PTSD, and different, mental disorders. Brothers and sisters that suffer from like chronic fatigue or IBS or allergies or Addison's disease, and so on and so forth. Try as best you're able to understand that when somebody expresses that they're having an issue, that they're not trying to pull one over on you. They could actually be having an issue. Even if you can't accept it, be a little bit more understanding, a little bit more empathetic, because one day, family, it could be you. A year and a half ago, I was fine until I'm not. But America has to come to grips with the illnesses that it's imposed upon our people for all these hundreds of years. We need to fight to make that happen, no matter what our position, what our state is. We got to do that. That's all I wanted to say on it, family. It's your man, Mark Black. Links in the description field below to support my work through a tip or what you would call a donation. There's also links to books that you can purchase. Purchasing through those links help to support my channel. I also have the new uh, Angry Black Sheep merchandise up in the store. So please pick up a cup so you can lift your cup up with me for Morning Joe, right? There's also a shirt and a hooded sweatshirt available. Again, the purchase of all of those help to go to support my advocacy, support my work. And remember, family, never ever push a person into a corner where they ain't got nothing to lose. No one fights harder. So the more they push us, the harder we're going to fight. I love you, fam. And until the next time I see you, I want to wish you love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.